Oh, it's that old phrase, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. What do you do if it like gives you something crappy like zucchini? What am I supposed to do with zucchini? No, I can't make it into any fancy drink. It's just there. I don't like it. I don't want to eat it. It's like anyway. Um, woke up because I was dehydrated and I could barely breathe. Like my entire throat was like clenched up. So I walked into the house and I got some water and I had an apple and uh, I walked back outside and I went into the garage and I grabbed a water bottle in case my throat started to get closed up again. And lo and behold, it starts pouring, like, not pouring, but it starts like raining pretty steadily while I'm walking back. And of course, I'm in this tiny silk shirt and a pair of boxers, and so I am freezing, like jogging back to my apartment. And I was like, this is bad. I should not have done this next time. And so now I have I'm gonna call them my emergency set. They're a set of warm-ups, jumpers back from when I ran, and a jacket that I'm gonna put on next time. Because I mean, it wasn't like in the summer where I could just kind of be like, oh yeah, middle of the night, 70 degrees. No, middle of the night it's like 20 degrees now. It's like, yeah, not happening. Anywho, I'm tired and I'm pretty much done with the semester right now. I I know that it's gonna be a tricky next semester. I'm gonna have to decide how I'm gonna go to school because I didn't do so well in the course I really needed to pass. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. If I'm gonna retake it in the spring or what. Um, ooh, that is a possibility. I'm gonna I'm gonna give him a phone call tomorrow and see if I can't get Joe to do an independent study to retake his Java course as an independent study over the course of the winter term, and then I will use my own personal money to pay for it, and then if I do that, that course should only cost me like 700 bucks. And then next semester after that, I can retake the stupid course for the fifth time and take the other course I need to graduate, and then I'd be good to go. It's just those three courses. But you know, but it's the 6 credit hours. And then this 4 that I didn't manage to complete this semester, so I'm still stuck right around 10 credit hours that I just haven't gotten complete yet. Um, but I'll see if I can get around it that way. Possibly, maybe take like a 1 credit hour course from Joe. And that's what I might be able to do. I might be able to say to Joe, hey, look, this is the situation. I want to take a 1 credit hour course from you as an independent study. I really don't care what it is, but maybe if I complete this and we work together all the semester, you'll give me a passing grade for the Java programming that I haven't satisfied the requirements for, and I'll do whatever the guy wants. I want to get this taken care of because it's ridiculous. And in the spring, I don't know what I'm gonna do because I mean it's gonna be back to square one, and it's gonna be torture. I mean it's as hard as I do try. Like it's like the internet course is not difficult. It's not, and I could take it and I could do a decent job at it. It's just life happens, and just not to have a teacher or professor or anybody give you any slack at all is ridiculous. And I wrote him a nice email because he did give me slack this time. Apparently there was a form I was supposed to complete before the before Sunday night, and I fell asleep when I got home Sunday instead of doing it. And he extended it and said he'd take 30% off the final, and I was like, oh, thank you. So I did it right away, and then apparently there's 2 different sections of the final. I thought mine was the 8 a.m. one this morning, and it was actually the 2 p.m. one yesterday. I worked, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. I would have had to have told him I couldn't be there, and he wouldn't have. And knowing him, he wouldn't have switched with me. He wouldn't have switched. He wouldn't have switched me, saying, "Hey, you know, I already gave you leeway here." But I sent him a thank you, and I said, "I appreciate you doing that without me asking. It was really kind of you, and I didn't want you to think I was ungrateful because I didn't show up to the final." But anyway, you know, no matter, I don't have any good luck with this class, because no matter how many times I take it, I don't seem to be able to get anything more than 50. And it doesn't have anything to do with me not knowing the material. I could probably take the final exam right now and get a really good grade on it. I could basically test out of it and like that. Seriously. I mean, I've taken the course so many times, it's ridiculous. I remember the first time I took the course, I could already like do most of the tests at like 60, 70%, which for going in for me is a little low. I mean, usually I can do about 80% of the coursework already when I start a course. Usually, in computers at least. There's a couple exceptions, but this one wasn't. It was networking. I'd been doing this for years, and in order to get internet out here, I had to have all the networking skills that I use in that course. So, you know, I know how to do it. And now that I've had the course, the networking out here is more advanced because I've had the course, and I know a little more, and because I ask all these ridiculously complicated questions just for out here, because that's what I use it for. And it's just stupid because I'm looking at it going, in all honesty, like I understand your like no rules, no exceptions, no extensions policy, but like at the same time, like if something happens, or you know, in my case, it's like if you would open all of the tests for the entire semester all at once, I wouldn't have a problem. I wouldn't. I seriously wouldn't. I would be able to go through and do them as I needed to, and in that situation, no problem with you. I'd be able to take the course at my own pace, and if I really needed to, I could go through one week knowing that I'd have a crazy schedule the next week and take the test early. But you don't open the schedule. He doesn't open the test until Sunday night, and then you have like a week to complete it, and that's about it. And if I have a crazy week at work, it'll escape my mind. Like, no matter how hard I try, like, I have reminders everywhere. Literally, they're hung up here, they're right here on the wall. And then I have one in my phone that goes off. And if I'm at work, you know, especially considering my jobs, like, pay for the reason I'm there. So it's like, it's not like I'm working and I'm distracting myself. No. I'm working so I can be there because I have to pay for the gas up there. I have to pay for my food. I have to pay for my lodging. I have to pay to live here, you know. I have to pay for a car. I have to pay for the car insurance. I have to pay for all of that. So in order to go to you and take your course, I have to do 3 separate part-time jobs. So excuse me, but beep to you for being a jerk about that. Because, I mean, if I wasn't working, you know what? I got a week to do it. No problem. But when I work 7 days a week, upwards of like 70 hours, shove off. Seriously, just shove off. Like, what gives you the right to tell me that a workplace would not find my attitude suitable? Thank you very much, but I happen to be a very proud member of the Staples Easy Tech team, and I fix computers already for a living. Isn't that a little hiccup in your plan there? You know, I do well for myself, and I don't know. I'm just in a more of a complaining mood now. I was in a bad mood earlier, but now I'm just in a mood to be like, where are you? I mean, I'm partially mad at myself for not getting down to the detail about when my final exam was. It's just, he said that it had to be done before the final, and the little chart thing said that I had till Wednesday morning, so I saw there was a final on Wednesday morning, and I just assumed, using his little, he has a little due date thing, so I was like, oh, so he set the due date to before the final, so I'll do it, and then I'll go to the final on Wednesday at 8. Turns out that there was a separate final for the online students that was at like 2 p.m. yesterday. You know, you never once sent me an email telling me when the fucking final was. You sent an announcement which it was obvious I didn't get that until you got the freaking emails, you know. You sent me an email, then you told me not to worry about it. So, I mean, Sunday night, I fixed that, you know, checked the due date, Wednesday, thought it was there, you know. It's like, yeah, I understand that I'm not that some of it's my fault, and I'm not saying that it's not. Because I mean, I've never had good luck when it comes to this course, and I understand. And I mean, just drama happens, and life happens, and things get hectic and crazy, and I can't handle it, and I take too much on, and I know my faults. I know the things I do wrong. But at the same time, like, you are over the top ridiculous, yes, sir. You are over the top ridiculous. I've never met anybody like you, so over the top ridiculous. I can call my workplace and call in sick. I can't with you. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? I was sick twice for 2 different labs this year. 2 different Thursday labs. You know, especially during the time I was at the play. So, I mean, especially considering, like, at that time, I was working close to, like, 24 hours some days. And let me rephrase that. There were some days I was working 24 hours, and I was getting paid to take cat naps in between on my break. It was ridiculous. And this guy has the gall to tell me, oh, you were sick? Sorry, can't do anything about that. Like, I understand, but, like, do the math. It's the 6th season, and just a single 0 in labs takes you down about 5 percentage points on a grade, on your final grade. Especially if you have a couple. So, I mean, I've done the math, and if I got credit, let me see if I can find this. If I had gotten credit for not the hiccups that were my fault. I'm talking about the hiccups that were his fault. I think I would have passed with a C-. The little things he did that were just jerk moves. If he had given me credit for those, like I believe he should have, I would have gotten a C-. What was it? This lab, well, it doesn't really matter which 2 labs I pick. But that lab, and let's find one of the other labs I missed. And then considering that I had gone to the right final and gotten somewhere above like gotten like a 75 on it, I would have passed with a C. I would have had a C, no problem. Not a problem. It would have been like a 71, and that's putting the low end on that. If I just showed up to those labs, I would have gotten 100 on both of them. Would have gotten 100 on both of them, and then down here, where is this? Now down here, this one was my fault. I thought it was due in the middle of the week, but it wasn't. This was apparently last week's lab. So if I did that and roughly did 50% of it, you know, I was sick, so I mean it wasn't my fault. Actually, so that wouldn't have counted because that one was my fault. So it would have been that. So I would have passed with a C+. Actually, if let's even go a little more mediocre. If I had gotten a 50, if I had been allowed to do the hands-on skills exam, which is the last exam, and done at least a halfway 50, or I did the final exam and got a 50, I would have passed with a 69. You know, and 60's the floor. But considering that I get no credit for either one of those, it drops me down to a 50. I mean, to be dead honest with you, if I had just gotten a 50 on that exam or a 50 on that exam, I would have passed with a D. No problem. But because I was sick the last week and I was out due to extenuating circumstances that, I mean, I'm not going to get into those on here, but I was out for issues, you know, it's the final exam, you know? If I was allowed to make up the final exam, it would have been great. But in order right now to pull anything out of my rear end, all I have to do is if I was allowed to take the final, I'd just have to get 50% of the questions right to pass the class. 50%. Half. I just have to get half of them right. Half of them. I could what's that percentage so just off the bat, you're guaranteed, if you just guess, that you'll get roughly a fourth of the questions right. So that means I actually only need to know a fourth of material. I know way more than a fourth, you know. It's just, I just need a grade higher than a 0. Anything, like, I just need, like, so much credit. And that's all I'd need. And it's funny. And annoying. But anyway, I mean, that's mostly my rant. I mean, it's ridiculous when, I mean, if you look at my grades on here, you'd understand. 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 0. I missed the lab. Chapter 3 exam is the only exam I didn't get 100 on, and it's because of I accidentally clicked the wrong answer, and I switched up 2 names. That was it, and I did it throughout the whole test. And then the next day I was like, hey, what the heck happened? He's like, you switched these 2. And I was like, oh, okay, I see. So 80.4, 100, 0, I missed that. 100, 0, I missed that. 75. That I got low credit because apparently I'd been showing up late, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know the class wasn't on at this time. I really didn't. I'm that clueless. And then the next 7 things, hundreds. Then a 0. Hundreds, a 0. 100, 0. And then the last week was really bad because I missed almost everything. I missed almost everything the last week, you know. So it was like 3 zeros right in a row. But just, you got me. Just wow. Just bloody wow. But anyway, I sent him an email, and we'll see how far his kindness goes this year. Maybe he'll, like, give me some little, like, be at the final this morning and do a decent job. And if he does, I mean, great. I mean, I'm not gonna be opposed to that, but I mean, I have to, if he's gonna take 30% off, I would need, if he's gonna take 30% off, I'd need to get a minimum of, well, if he's going to take 30% off, roughly, you're going to lose 30 points. So I have to get at least an 85. Actually, no. What's 30% of 60? Off the top. So I would get 70% of any points that I earned. So I think that means I just need to get 75. Let me do the math here. I'm curious now. I'd pass with that. I'd pass with a 70. So as long as I pass the final exam, I would pass the course. So if I go any lower than 65, I wouldn't get it. But anywho, this class drives me up the wall, completely bat crap crazy. So anyway, I rant about my course. That's the long and short of it. Yeah, so the world breaks everyone, and afterwards some are strong in broken places. It's a really good quote. Really good quote. I really, really like that quote, actually. Good night, world. One of these days, I'm gonna get to that point where I'm gonna be able to do everything right for like a year in a row, or like at least let's go like 3 months, 3 months in a row, and I'm gonna be so ecstatic, and I'm gonna be jumping off the walls for joy. I'm gonna be like, I'll get there. I'll figure it out. But it's just annoying and it bums me out to feel like such a derp, because I mean, in my opinion, I've earned this degree. I've earned this degree above and beyond, in my opinion, because I know more than I need to know for this degree. The only class that I can't say I know is the Java. To be dead honest, it's the one I can't say I know, and I haven't gotten a grade for it, But anyway, I'm gonna see if I can email that gentleman and see if I can't work something out with him. I might go up during final exam week and talk to him and see if there's anything I can do. But anyway, that's about the long and short of it. Alright. Have a wonderful day, everyone, if anybody sees this. And just know, I'm okay. I'm not too bad, Seriously. It's life sucks, yeah. Right? Sometimes, it's not like I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. No, I'm not fine, obviously. But I'm fine. I'll survive. I'll manage. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do. Maybe in a couple hours when this guy gets up and he has to go to this final exam, he'll send me an email, and by the grace of God, allow me to take this final exam. And if I do, I'll wing in a prayer. I'll study right now on the off chance he does, but on the off chance if he doesn't, and says, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it, like, I'll just be like, hey, I understand. I was just saying thank you. I mean, I'm not just saying thank you. I'm fishing for the show up to the final exam today, and I'm gonna take 30% off, or something like that, to that effect, But regardless, have a wonderful day, everyone.